Hey guys, Nick here. Before you jump into this podcast, I need to warn slash apologize to you for how my audio sounds. When we were setting up, I thought I was all good, and turns out I forgot to change the preferences on my computer before we started recording, and so my computer was picking up my audio through the computer microphone instead of the XLR. So, unfortunately, my audio is not the greatest this week. So you're just gonna kind of have to bear with us a little bit through that. But won't happen again. Promise. Won't make the same mistake again. It's still a great episode. You just gotta kind of battle through the quality a little bit. But hope you enjoy and keep tuning in. Thanks, guys.
Hi, and welcome to the Pod Cafe. I'm
Why are you
Nick
doing
Potts.
this? Why are you doing
I'm
this?
just channeling my inner Pete Sagal,
Yeah, look at that. I'm Emily Potts.
and we drink coffee and talk about the podcast we're listening to.
Yeah, we do. What kind of coffee are you drinking today?
Today, I'm disappointed in myself because I wanted to go actually get coffee from somewhere, but then I was on the phone for, no joke, 3 hours, so I ran out of time. So I went back to Cameron's Specialty Coffee, different flavor this time, caramel cream instead of the caramel chocolate brownie. Last
Wow.
time.
Wait, this is hilarious because the coffee that I'm drinking is caramel vanilla cream.
That's interesting. It could be the same coffee. Mine doesn't specify vanilla cream, just caramel cream. So does that mean it's caramel flavored cream or caramel and cream?
I don't know. Caramel and cream, maybe?
I think you're right. I think it's just caramel and cream. Where's your coffee from?
Well, it's just a K-cup one, so I have a from my Keurig, so it's Green Mountain. But the reason I was drinking this one was because I know last week we talked about the whole flavored coffee versus non-flavored coffee, and I said I was going to bring you my opinion for today. So I kind of have one for you. I think what it is, so yeah, I mean, it's not like a really strong flavor, but it's like there's something there that it doesn't just taste like black coffee. But what I think is the kicker for these flavored coffees is you can kind of smell it more. You know, like there's like a, I don't know, the flavor aroma, I guess you could say. You know,
Smell
like
the coffee
you should,
or smell the flavor?
like the flavor in the coffee. I feel like you can smell it more than you can taste it.
I think that's true because I definitely noticed that making this coffee. I smelled the caramel and I thought it smelled really good, but it doesn't necessarily taste that much different.
Yeah, I feel like maybe you swirl it around, kind of like you're, swirling wine to get the oxygen in it, get the flavor and the scent in your nose, and then drink it, and then it tastes like the flavored coffee.
This is a very round coffee. I taste the cedar in this coffee.
Yeah, I can
It's got
taste
tones.
tones. It's got tones. I think in this caramel vanilla cream, I can taste something sweet, but I can't decide if what I taste is the caramel or the vanilla cream.
I mean, ideally both, right? Shouldn't it be both?
Yeah, I just feel like neither one of those are like a really strong flavor where they like stand out. Like if this was a hazelnut, I feel like that's like a flavor you can recognize, but this thing's just
Okay.
kind of sweet-ish.
The hazelnut is the only flavored black coffee that I can actually taste the difference in, and it's the worst. I hate
What?
hazelnut flavored. I hate hazelnut.
Oh, I love hazelnut, but I think it is a really strong flavor, so it stands out more.
It's very strong. I hate hazelnut flavored coffee. I hate Nutella. I hate anything hazelnut.
Yeah, I don't like Nutella either. That whole thing just actually kind of confuses me. But I like hazelnut flavored coffee. I actually ate some hazelnuts today. Wow, that's a bummer.
Gross.
I guess. I don't know.
Well, Emily, what is the podcast we're doing today?
Oh, I'm so excited to talk about it. So, this is one of my favorite podcasts. I actually used to listen to it all the time when I was like marathon training. I think it's a really entertaining podcast to just listen to while you run. So, it's called Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, and it's an NPR like quiz news program type of thing. So they do all these news stories and things like that. They have guests, they have panels and judges and all these things, but it's all about the news. So it's really fun. You can like test your knowledge on what you heard on the news and figure out. They do fun things where they make up some fake news and then you have to figure out what's the real or fake news. So it's kind of fun. You can play along too. So it's a live taping, but it's you can also play online like while it's broadcasting, which is cool.
So it's kind of like it's literally just radio shows kind of modernized and transformed into podcast form and integrated other forms of technology into their media.
Yeah,
it's interesting. It's not at all what I thought it was going to be. I don't listen to a whole lot of NPR podcasts, so first of all, I was not expecting the game show aspect. Second of all, I've listened to mostly newer age, whatever that means, podcasts. So like the whole radio voice thing caught me off guard.
Oh, it's hilarious. Yeah, the first episode of Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me was actually recorded in 1998. So it's been around for a while. They're like, I don't know, they've been doing this for a while. But one other thing, and I didn't know this, obviously, when I chose this podcast, but there's some really important people on the show. So, you were channeling your inner Peter Sagal, and he's the host. So, he's an important guy. Then we have the judge.
Why is he important?
Well, because he's the host.
Oh, so he's just important in terms of this podcast, not in general.
Yeah. Just in terms of this podcast. But
okay.
So we have Peter, then we have the judge / scorekeeper, and that's Bill Curtis, which I wanted to look up what he looked like because I couldn't really picture him, and I've never really, I kind of knew all these names when I've been listening to this podcast, but I didn't know what they looked like. But he was like a pretty famous Chicago news anchor, so I don't know, he's cool.
Are they all in Chicago? All the tapings or recording?
No, not all of them, but most of them are at the Chase Bank Auditorium in Chicago.
Cool, yeah. Yeah, that's neat. Chicagoans love when things are in Chicago.
Oh, yeah. That's another reason why I love it, because it's in Chicago.
You're not in Chicago.
Well, not anymore.
Born and raised, though.
But the last thing, this is the thing I didn't know, obviously, when I chose this podcast for us to listen to this week. But, so Carl Castle, he used to be the scorekeeper on the show, but now they use him as like a prize. I don't know if you caught that, but basically at the beginning they didn't have a budget for actual prizes. So the prize for listeners was to have Carl Castle record an outgoing message on their answering machine. So
I heard him say that when he was saying the prize, which is, do you want that?
Well, they're kind of funny. I mean, you can listen to some of them online, and they're really kind of hilarious. But he recorded over like 2,000 messages across the time he's been doing this. But here's the big news. And I didn't know this until literally I started like getting ready for this podcast. But Carl Castle actually died on Tuesday of this week. So I was kind of like, wow, what timing for us to talk about this, because this guy has been such a huge part of Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, and then in the same week we're reviewing it on our podcast, he dies from complications from Alzheimer's. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. So what do they do now? Do they replace him?
I don't know. And obviously, like, the episode I chose was not a recent one. The only reason I really chose it is because I kind of liked the news stories that they did, and their guest, Kristen Ritter, has been on a couple other podcasts that I've been listening to this week, so I just kind of wanted to keep with my theme. But then I was listening to a more recent one this morning just to see, and they did kind of a little tribute to him, but I don't know what they're going to do.
That's insane. That's awful timing.
Yeah.
But crazy timing. Yeah, that's nuts. He was, I guess one of the most important roles in it, right?
Yeah, and I mean, the show's been running for like 2 decades, and the whole time, the only prize that's ever given on this game show is his voicemail recordings, which is amazing.
I almost hope they just, like, end of an era it, kind of, and come up with a new prize instead of just have somebody else give out the voicemail prize.
Yeah, I think so too. I'll kind of like follow it, and maybe in a future podcast we can see what they end up doing. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. I mean, the voicemails are so funny, but I just feel like he's got to be the one to do them, so they got to do something different. Okay, so should we jump into this episode that I made you listen to this week and the things they talked about?
Yeah, it was really funny, actually. The radio voices take some getting used to, but the fake news concept is really funny, and I like that they kind of gamified this whole fake news thing that's been going around for so long now.
Yeah, and I mean, they've been doing this for, since 1998, so fake news, like, they did it before it really became a thing, you know?
They're the OGs of fake news.
Right?
They fake news before Trump fake news.
Yeah. But I think the one thing I really like about the game show voices is that it moves really fast. It's a fast-paced podcast that kind of keeps you entertained.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, I guess it eliminates dead air, and even though they could probably just edit that out, but it does, like, move the less interesting parts along quicker. It's just like, yeah, you did really well. You got 3 out of 3. You scored really well. Here's your prize, and let's get the next caller going. And then when it gets interesting, Peter, right? Peter Sagal?
Yeah.
Peter can slow it down and engage, like, we could talk about later, or maybe now, the coincidence of having 2 rock band singers call in.
Yeah, when he was just like, no!
Yeah, that was funny. That was out of radio voice character.
Yeah, that was really funny. All the shows are pretty much the same. They follow the same, like, sequence of, I don't even know what you call these, like, topics or activities. So the first one is always the who's Bill this time. So Bill Curtis reads, like, 3 quotes from the week's major news articles, and you have to identify either, like, who said it or what it was about, etc. And I think the one that was really funny to me was when they were talking about the service animals that Delta put out a list of banned animals.
Yeah, that was really funny. First of all, because before they got too deep into it, I immediately thought of Abby and Ray, because for those of you who don't know, we have another sister. And she got a dog because she was lonely, and her apartment complex wasn't allowed to have dogs, so she got it registered as a service dog, as like an emotional support dog. And yeah. Let me tell you, when this dog was a puppy, and sometimes still now, it does anything but provide emotional support. If anything, it increases anxiety.
Yeah, that's so true. But, I mean, I was Googling it because I kind of forgot she did that. But I was Googling it and I was like, wow, this is a really easy online, like, 2 to 3 step process. Like, I get why people do it.
Yeah, I guess it is super easy. Can you do any animal?
Well, I mean, the one I was looking at, it seemed to be, like, strictly dogs, but apparently you kind of can. But I love that the list that Delta banned was comfort turkeys, sugar gliders, snakes, and spiders. Like, who actually wants those things with them?
I didn't know turkeys were even a pet. Outside of our March Madness bracket, I didn't think turkeys were in people's houses.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, when I think of a turkey, I'm like, wild turkey, probably going to be hunted one day. Not like turkey running around my living room. Very, very weird.
Or on a plane. How do you even get a turkey on a plane? Does it sit still for the plane ride?
I just can't imagine. I'm baffled by this whole thing. It's so funny.
And a spider, you almost like don't even. You could just kind of sneak a spider on a plane, right? Just throw that thing in your pocket, unless it gets squished. Are we talking tarantulas, or like what kind of pet spiders do people have?
I don't know, but if someone has a spider that they find to be comforting, I think that's someone I don't get. Like, I just don't get someone who's comforted by something I try to kill immediately when I see it.
That person's going to end up on a wine and crime podcast, not as the victim, as the potential suspect.
Yeah. So that was really funny. I really love that they talked about that. And I loved the anecdotes of when you get one of these service animals, then it flies for free. So then they were all talking about, like, here's my comfort family of 4, or here's my comfort full-size bottle of shampoo. Just like, what free things can you get on the plane by claiming them as comfort items?
I mean, if you can bring a snake, yeah, why not? Why can't you bring... Aren't we past the point of not being able to bring shampoo on a plane yet? I don't understand.
Actually, no, because, well, I sometimes like to risk it and see which airport TSAs are really on top of their checking of things. Sometimes I make it through when my full-size items. Sometimes I don't. It's a really hit or miss, and it's a bummer when you don't.
Listen, if you fly a certain airline that I don't want to put on blast, but it rhymes with hear it, you can get away with anything. I put my judo bag with like 4 gis on it that is a giant duffel bag just on my back like a backpack, and they just let me on the plane without checking it, without considering it. I just throw it in the overhead bin when I'm only registered to have a personal item. So, I don't know.
You better watch yourself. They're going to be looking out for you.
They're
going to put you on their list.
One time I was standing in line waiting to get to board the plane, and I did that and got by, no problem. And after I got by, we're walking down the ramp, this lady behind me was Muslim. She goes to me, she goes, you know, if you looked like me, you wouldn't have gotten away with that.
Oh, I hate that. That's
I was
so
like,
sad.
You're probably right. I don't...
I have nothing else to say to you.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, but we joked about it, and I don't know. Anyway.
So that was like the first part, and they have a contestant like call in to participate in that. Then we moved on to the panel questions. So each episode also has panel representatives. And the panel question part is usually regarding like less serious stories in the week's news, and the questions are phrased kind of like a game show. So they ask a question and they kind of fill in the blank. And then they talk about the story. And I think the one really funny story, and this is actually still kind of relevant, even though this episode is back from January, but they were talking about the Stormy Daniels, Donald Trump, and they were talking about a story where she one time found Donald Trump watching 3 straight hours of Shark Week, and then he followed up by claiming he does not support shark support programs or charities or anything.
Nonprofits.
And then shark nonprofits, and then the news story was actually just about that shark preservation charities surged in support that week because people were like, oh, Donald Trump's against it, I'm going to support it.
It's so funny how many people hate Donald Trump, and yet somehow he got elected. So somebody doesn't.
Yeah. But that was just funny. I mean, what a passive-aggressive way to show your anger against someone. I love it.
I saw, actually, same car ride. This is really interesting. I was behind a car that was very anti-Democrat. A bunch of stickers. It was like a sticker of George Bush that said, "Do you miss me yet?" And like an anti-Hillary Clinton sticker and an anti-Obama sticker. So I was driving behind that car, and in the same ride, I saw a massive billboard on 90, and it was advertising that Stormy Daniels would be in Chicago soon. She's making an appearance at the Admiral Theater strip club in Chicago.
Wow, look at that. What a
Yeah, that place is
wait.
gonna be packed. You got.
Oh yeah, they'll sell that out. So I would say one thing with this podcast is I love it, but I do struggle to follow the points, like who's winning at any time. So I usually just kind of wait till the end to hear the winner. But
Maybe it's like, is it like whose line is it anyways? Where the points don't matter.
I mean the points matter. They get so the contestants answer a question, and whoever, it's usually like which panelist is reading it or which panelist is being asked that question. The panelists are the people who are like gaining the points trying to win. But really it all comes down to the very last segment that they do, which we'll get to. That kind of gives them all the points and decides a quick winner.
Yeah, because
So-
one of them was behind like 4 points to 1. And
Yeah.
they were still in it at the end.
Yeah. It's a real like up in the air thing until the end. But so we did the Who's Bill, and then the panel, and now we're on to what they call the Bluff the Listener. So this is where they do the 3 stories, and then 2 of them are fake, and they have to choose which of the news articles is true. And I thought this one was really fun because they were talking about the Where Are They Now of kids TV stars, and they had some funny fake stories. But I thought you would enjoy this one because I know that when you were little you were such a Barney fan.
Huge Barney fan. And first of all, when they introduced this segment, I thought it was going to be like literal child stars. Like, where is Stephen Lipnicki now after doing Stuart Little? Yet not, I wasn't expecting Barney or, shoot, what were the other ones?
Snuffleupagus and Thomas the Tank Engine.
So all part of children's shows, but actors you never actually saw.
Yeah, just the voice of these actors.
Yeah.
So the true story was actually that the guy that was the voice, or I guess the person inside of the Barney costume.
They were in the Barney costume.
Yeah. So that guy, he now runs a tantric sex business, which is like quite a career change. I don't know.
It is, but I'm a little bit not surprised that was the real story. It's like Steve from Blue's Clues, didn't he end up being a child molester? I don't know, these adults get involved in these children's programs for some reason, right?
And then something weird happens, but
Nobody's dream is to be Barney. But for some reason, unless he's like just trying to get his start late in the game, though.
yeah. I mean, I did some research to try and understand what a tantric sex business is, and it's a thing that exists. It's definitely a community I'm not in or very knowledgeable about, but it's a thing. It's like, it's supposed to be like healing type of like massage, ritual, baths, balancing, chakras, things like that. But the weird part is the end goal is to like release females' blocked energy is my best way of saying that thing.
This is what, if you can remember the American Pie series, their friend, I can't remember his name, but he's the one that sleeps with Stifler's mom. He spends like almost all the movies practicing tantric sex things so he could just blow her mind when it actually happens.
It's so weird.
It's super weird. I mean, I guess it's not. It's like less weird than some things, but
yeah, I think maybe our perspective is like, yeah, that's weird, but apparently not to a lot of others. So it's a quite a career change for Barney there.
it's like I said, I don't have trouble believing it. It's not the one I picked to be the true story, though. I originally was gonna say the voice actor for Thomas the Tank Engine being the Olympic speed
Olympic
skater
speed skater.
was the one I was gonna pick, and then they started saying like he was inspired by Thomas just just going around a track constantly, and he was like, maybe I should do that too. That seemed a little
Yeah.
unrealistic. And then the second one was Snuffleupagus is the one that I picked to be true because I actually think if he wrote that book, everybody would buy it.
Oh, totally. And there was like two people in that costume. So I was like, that's fair. Someone is actually playing the butt of Snuffleupagus. But
Yeah, that one I thought for sure was going to be the true one. But again, not surprised that Barney had a career change either.
yeah. Yeah, that was a I was like kind of upset that that was the one that was right, but not surprised. So then they moved on to the actual guest, which is kind of funny because like on this show when they have a guest, they're usually part of a segment called Not My Job, where they talk about something that is somehow closely, very, very loosely associated with this person, but it's not at all about them or what they do. So we had Kristen Ritter on this one, and she's an actress, and she's in that Netflix series called Jessica Jones. I've never seen it,
Jones.
but
I have. I saw season 1. Haven't seen season 2 yet, but season 1 was really good. This is not a superhero podcast, but season 1 was good, mostly because she's great. She plays that role really well. Also, David Tennant is the main villain in that show, and David Tennant is a phenomenal actor and does a fantastic job in it.
Well, maybe I'll check it out. And now that I've listened to her on multiple podcasts, I'm into it. But so for this one, they talked about I don't even know how they connected it, but basically it's about other people with the last name Jones. So she had some quiz questions on like which of these stories about someone else with the name Jones is true.
First of all, let's back up.
Yeah.
Where are these malls that people are going to
Oh,
they're getting
yeah.
discovered as models in? And
In
follow
Pennsylvania.
follow up, why are agents hanging out in malls?
Yeah, I forgot she said that. She's like, I was discovered in my hometown at a mall in Pennsylvania. I was like, that's got to be the only story that worked out like that.
I feel like you hear like the same thing happened to Jennifer Lawrence, and I feel like you hear about it all the time. But
Yeah.
where are these malls, and why are they just hanging around looking for people in these malls?
That's a good question. I don't know, and I'm actually really surprised. I don't know where Jennifer Lawrence is from, but I was really surprised by Kristen Ritter saying this because I just don't expect that to happen in like small town Pennsylvania.
Yeah, especially a small town.
Yeah, and I also thought it was really funny how she talked about how much she likes to knit. Like, that's just a quirky random thing, but I liked it.
It was more funny to me that she got her co-stars to knit with her, the guys anyway.
Yeah. She's like, I do a lot of knitting on set. Like, the people that are producing that show are probably like, what the heck?
I can just see Daredevil knitting himself like a winter accessory to go fight crime in.
Yeah. They were asking her, like, do you think they'll ever include that in the show? I really hope they somehow incorporate, like, a knitting superhero trick.
That would be hilarious. I don't know that they ever could with her character. I don't think she'd ever knit, but that'd be pretty funny.
That'd be good, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be good. So what did they ask her? They asked her other people with the last name Jones.
Yeah, so I can't remember all of the examples, but they were asking about, like, people with the last name Jones. So the first one was about James Earl Jones, and it was basically just like, what does he do in his free time or retirement? I'm kind of blanking on what the question was, but I just remember that he said the true news story, I guess, about him was that he drives around with a CB radio talking to truck drivers in Darth Vader voices, which seems like a kind of a hilarious hobby to have.
Well, I don't know if you know. Do you know who James Earl Jones is?
Yeah.
Okay,
And like picturing him doing that is like kind of funny. I don't know.
it's hilarious. And if you found out that it was James Earl Jones, it would be very funny. Um,
Wasn't he in a Star Wars movie?
he is
Or
Darth Vader.
oh, I know, but like do you ever like see him really, or do you just always know it's his voice?
I mean, Darth Vader's pretty much masked up. He takes his helmet off at one point in the older movies. But he's
Okay.
like
I
so
can't remember if you
disconfigured.
actually see his face.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
would recognize him because he's pretty disfigured, but everybody knows
I
that James
also
Earl Jones.
assume yeah, yeah. But I also kind of thought like is that like a Darth Vader voice? Or like I was always thinking it was just a computerized thing. Like I would like to hear what James Earl Jones's Darth Vader voice is.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting because Darth Vader is, the whole point is he's more machine than man at some point. So like his voice is technically like robotic. Like his breathing is because his on essentially on life support in his suit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Everybody's done a fake Darth Vader voice, I guess.
Yeah, he's probably, I mean, within reason, he's probably the best at it too.
He must be.
So that was the first one, which was kind of funny. The second one was about an Australian race car driver, and this was like really confusing to me that this was the true news story. But he won a race, and I can't remember what race it was, but I guess no one was expecting him to win. So they didn't have the Australian national anthem to play, but they did find a drunk person with a trumpet to play the happy birthday song.
that was the true story, right?
That was the true story. So I just don't get how that happened. I didn't look into where this happened, but I was like, this can't be true.
That could have been easier. Wouldn't it have been easier to just find the national anthem?
Right? Well, I guess I think I don't know how long ago this was, but I was like there seemed to be so many other options other than drunk guy playing happy birthday on a trumpet.
I would I would rather just not have any music at all, maybe.
Yeah. And the other thing is like is the happy birthday song like universal? Like if this is like an Australian dude and then are we doing like the English American version of happy birthday, or is everyone pretty much consistent on what that sounds like?
As far as I know, the melody is pretty much the same. Obviously, the words in different languages are different, but yeah, the happy birthday song is pretty much the happy birthday song.
So then that kind of really defeats the purpose of playing a country's national anthem then, because now you're just playing a song that every country also shares.
Here's the other thing. I don't necessarily know if the happy birthday song is like a cultural staple in every culture. I thought maybe it was mostly an American thing, but I guess I don't know for sure.
Yeah, I don't know either, but either way, this is an unfortunate Jones story. For the guy's name is Alan Jones, so kind of a bummer for him. I don't know. But the last one was about George Jones, and I don't know, I think his wife took away his license or something because I don't know if he got a DUI, but something, she didn't want him drinking and driving, so he rode a riding lawnmower to go get some alcohol from the liquor store. And that was pretty much the basis of the story. I don't know how that's like breaking news, but I was like, okay. I still think that's drinking and driving, but whatever, okay.
That's dedication is what that is. But also not as not super impressive. I feel like any super drunk person from the suburbs would do the same thing if they needed more alcohol, or at least have tried.
Oh yeah, totally. Like, to me, I was like, this isn't the most impressive news story I've heard, but all right, fine.
I mean, 8 miles is pretty far, I guess, on a tractor. Those don't necessarily go very fast.
Yeah. So I think this next part of the podcast, or this episode in particular, was kind of my favorite. So they jumped back to doing some more panel questions, and these next three news stories I was kind of laughing out loud about. I thought they were kind of hilarious. I even had to Google them to like confirm the validity of this. And this was the Great Britain hiring a minister of loneliness.
Real quick, do you think George Jones sobered up at all on his ride?
Well, he had to be kind of sober on the way there, right? Because he was going to get alcohol, but then probably drunk on the way back.
I mean, when does rationale kick in? If you're sober, I don't know that you could convince yourself to drive 8 miles on a tractor to get alcohol, unless you're an alcoholic, maybe.
Yeah, I don't really know.
It's
I mean,
funnier if he was drunk, started driving, sobered up on the way there, and then made the decision to keep going just for attrition reasons. Like, I don't know, because he's not a quitter.
well, how fast do riding lawnmowers go? Like 8 miles? How long did this take him?
You ever been stuck behind a tractor when you're
Well,
driving?
it's not a tractor. It's a riding lawnmower.
Which I think is slower.
Lawnmower slower than tractor?
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
So
So it
like,
probably
a
took him
long time.
like over an hour.
I would say.
I mean, at some point, if he didn't, I would say he would probably sober up a little bit, at least on the way there. But then he would probably drink whatever liquor he bought and then rebuild his momentum again for the way back.
He would have to, because on the way back would be even worse. He would sober up even more. I don't know. That's an interesting decision making process.
Yeah.
What
Okay.
kind of alcohol
are
did he
you
get, you think?
are you done with George Jones
Yeah,
yet?
I'm done.
Okay. So the next three stories, I'm anxious to get to them because I think they were hilarious. Okay, so the first one was about Great Britain hiring a new minister of loneliness. Apparently, this is like a big issue in Britain. Like, they actually have a serious problem with loneliness and they're worried about the health risks.
I think they're all still a little salty about losing the Revolutionary War.
Oh, do you? You think that's why they feel lonely?
Yeah, I think it's hard to get over. They lost their children basically. We were their colonial children, and they were abandoned by them. So there's a hole that they're still trying to fill with like tea and crumpets and fish and chips, but comfort food only goes so far.
I feel like at some point in your life you should try and visit Great Britain to either confirm or correct all of your stereotypes there.
I don't think I'm being
Tea
inaccurate.
and crumpets?
tea and crumpets. I think that was the invention of tea time. To eat crumpets to fill the space of my colonial children.
Okay. Okay, the next true story that they had was about the beauty
You don't want to talk about the
pageant
Minister
for
of Loneliness
camels.
at all?
No, not really. I don't know anything about them. I just know that that's their job.
I mean, it's a weird job title. That's kind of enough.
Yeah.
What do they do exactly?
I have no idea.
Oh, what do you think they
Figure
would
out
do?
ways to get rid of loneliness.
Isn't that kind of like a jester in the medieval ages?
I don't know. Does a jester like? Oh, I guess kind of they would like entertain, so that might make someone feel less lonely. I kind of thought their like one goal was just to like make people laugh.
The jester or the Minister of Loneliness?
The jester.
Probably both, right?
Yeah, I guess probably both.
That's, for far too many people, loneliness is the sad reality of modern life. That is a statement made by somebody on the Minister of Loneliness.
Well, that's really sad.
Yeah, I guess, I didn't realize loneliness was such a big issue in England. It's proven to be far worse for health than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. But it can be overcome
Oh, yeah.
and needn't be a factor in older people's lives.
I did read that. I love that they were comparing loneliness to smoking. It's like, wow, that is serious. Like maybe where they have those like teens you shouldn't smoke commercials in the US, they have find a friend commercials in Britain.
Hey, don't be lonely.
Yeah.
Isn't that what Tinder's for?
Maybe, but who knows if they have that there.
That's
You know?
true. They have Tinder.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Okay.
So the next one was about the beauty pageant for camels that happens in Saudi Arabia.
Hilarious.
And how over a dozen were disqualified for Botox.
I think they've been stealing from the Kardashians.
All right, here's what I think my major takeaway of this story was. How is there a country that seems to treat their camels better than they treat the women? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, we can have the women drive, or we could have a camel carnival.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with the camel carnival.
So, that was kind of funny. I don't know much to say about that. I just, like, don't really know what a beautiful camel is versus a not so beautiful camel.
Well, apparently it's big lips and a large prominent forehead. You would think the humps would play a bigger part in the camel beautifying process.
Yeah, I would think so too. I feel like that's like the signature thing of a camel is like one hump, two hump. Not like big lips, not big. I don't know.
Which one do you think is more beautiful, the one hump or the two hump?
I kind of think two, but that's just like, just seems more majestic to me, you know? But I don't know.
Two seems a little more functional to me. Like it's a nice little built-in saddle. You can sit between the humps.
Yeah,
Whereas
that's
if
true.
you're riding a camel, you gotta sit on top of a one hump. But I don't know if it's more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Okay, so we're at an impasse on the humps.
Okay, so the last story that they talked about that I thought was pretty hilarious was that they found the face of a 9,000-year-old teenager from Greece. So they used some like 3D printing to create what this teenager would have looked like. And the biggest takeaway was that, well, they said she looked sullen, aka this teenager 9,000 years ago from Greece just had a straight up resting bitch face.
Was a modern day bratty teenager.
Yeah.
The news story said the teenager looked pissed off.
Yeah, I'm glad that like bratty teens are not a new thing and they've just been around forever. Like I'm glad that's not like an evolution thing that we're trying to work through. That's a thing.
I guess it just means it's not their fault. It's just genetics or a development, human development.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's just a thing we go through. So, I mean, I looked at the pictures of her. She does look pissed.
She's dead, and she was a teenager when she died. So, do they know how she died?
I don't think so. I didn't read anything about that. I'm wondering, like, more what she was pissed about 9,000 years ago. You know, like, now it's easy to be like, teens pissed because they can't use a car or a cell phone or get a ride somewhere. But, like, 9,000 years ago in Greece, what are we pissed about at that time?
Probably a lot, right? Probably, like, Zeus doesn't like me very much today.
Yeah. Or, like, I don't know.
I don't know anything about that.
I don't really.
My favorite statue in the Pantheon is dirt. I don't know. I don't
know either. And I don't think I remember much about, like, I mean, you seem to be the history guru as we've been doing these podcasts, but I don't really remember much about ancient Greece besides, like, the gods and goddesses talk, so.
I mean, I really like Greek mythology. I'm into that. I don't know, like, how long ago was 9,000 years ago? Are we talking, like, Socrates? I'm gonna look it up. Who was alive 9,000 years ago?
Yeah, I have no idea.
9,000
I feel like they could
years.
still be pissed about, like, similar things, like, this person's not being nice to me, you know? Like, maybe there were some things that literally were just the same.
Man, I wish we could have someone to manage my loneliness.
Maybe someday people will evolve and have someone to. What?
Maybe like okay. She
What's so
looks
funny?
so mad,
Oh, I know. It's hilarious. Like, just pissed.
but not like a my boyfriend's cheating on me piss. Not like a I'm dying piss.
She looks like I'm gonna punch you in the face pissed.
Yeah, she looks like they just lost a soccer game or something.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Maybe that happened.
I don't
Maybe.
know. That's funny though.
Yeah, it was really funny. Well, I guess, I mean, the last piece of the podcast is definitely the hardest for me to follow because this is where my, like, news anchor game show host things are like, I'm like, whoa, that was really impressive. When they do the listener limerick challenge and they rattle off like some really long phrase and then there's a blank in it and it rhymes, I'm just like, I don't even know how the listeners like followed that. They're talking so quickly. It's like funny. I want to laugh, but I also need to listen. And
People are very good at these games. They're even very good at guessing like the fake stories and stuff. But yeah, people are the the rock band singer was really
yeah,
good at guessing the limerick ends. I mean, I
yeah,
guess like it's not terribly hard because they it does have to rhyme, and then you
right,
just have to fit it into the context of the limerick.
yeah. The only one I really remember because it just went so quick. It was awesome. Was the Wisconsin legalizing lemonade stands? Do you remember hearing that?
Which makes no sense. I don't understand.
Like before it was illegal without a permit. What were they doing? Like arresting
Yeah,
seven
what
year
is
olds?
that about? You know, what? Because you need a business license to sell lemonade? I didn't know that was a thing at all.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't really understand like why that was an issue that came up that we needed to resolve in Wisconsin. Like we need to legalize lemonade stands. There's too many fines going out to parents or like what made this come to the top of legislation at some point.
What? Who made it illegal to have lemonade stands in the first place?
Yeah, I don't know. And now I'm kind of wondering like if we're just talking about Wisconsin, do we have states that still haven't legalized? This is important.
Lemonade stands? Yeah, these toddlers are just making too much money. They're not paying their taxes. There's definitely like you can go online and find a list of ridiculous laws that are still laws in different states, and some of them are just insane. But
Yeah,
not enforced mostly.
right. I was just kind of Googling it, and there was another one that popped up recently in Texas.
A
Someone,
lemonade stand?
yeah, a problem with someone selling it without a permit. Police were involved. I don't understand. I just feel like
Police
we
were
have,
involved?
I feel like we have better things to do.
Who's calling the police on these toddlers?
I don't know. I didn't even think about that. Like, we used to do this when we were kids. Like, have
Yeah, all the
lemonade
time.
stands. I wonder, like, that would not have ever been a thought in my mind to be like, oh, is this legal to do?
Because
Make,
nobody
like,
cared. The cops were not gonna care. The cops were gonna come buy our lemonade.
yeah, and, like, after 5 hours of being outside, you make 60 cents. Like, what? Are we supposed to claim that on some taxes or something?
Yeah, it's a stupid rule. It's weird that it's being enforced. There's a lot of crazy laws that are not enforced, but there are people getting ticketed for having unlicensed lemonade stands.
Yeah. That's a thing. So I was thinking, in true wait, don't tell me fashion, I was thinking that we could do kind of our own little news quiz situation. What do you think?
Hit me with it. Who's the quizzer? Who's the quiz taker?
I'm going to quiz you. So we'll do it like the panel questions, like a fill in the blank type of thing. So I'm not going to give you like real and fake stories because I don't think I'm creative enough to do that. But I'm going to give you 3 stories. We'll do them one at a time. I'll read you the question, and you have to fill in the blank. Now, I just kind of feel like I chose a little bit of random news stories, so I'll give you hints, because I just kind of feel like you probably didn't catch this news.
Well, let me try first.
All right, I'll give you the question first, and then if you need the hint, I'll give you the hint.
I'm gonna ask that you do your best Peter Sagal while we play.
Okay. I feel like I'm gonna be terrible at this, but I'll give it a try.
Radio voice it up.
I don't think I can hear the radio voices. I don't know if I have one. I don't. All right, I'll try.
Try.
No, but I just feel I'm scared. I feel like this is gonna be just a fail. I'm gonna try. Okay, Nick, welcome to the. I feel like you're laughing at me already.
No, it's really good.
Thank you. Welcome to the Pod Cafe game show news thing, right? That we're gonna do right now. Okay, so first question. First question for you, Nick. So, a woman named Nabi Tajima, might have botched that. Nabi Tajima, born on August 4th, 1900, just recently passed away on Thursday as the oldest person living on the planet. And, okay, she outlived the previous oldest person by 5 months. Crazy. So this woman dies at age 117. This makes her older than what modern day country? Go.
Oh my God, there's so many countries. I'll
give you...
continent.
I can't, because then I give you the answer.
What? If you
that was a solid hint right there.
Oh, Australia.
Yeah! Ding, ding,
Nailed
ding,
it.
ding. So this woman, she just passed away on Thursday, and she was 117 years old, making her older than literally anyone living, as well as modern-day Australia.
Was it a homicide?
No, she was ill. She was hospitalized in January or something, and then made it till Thursday. So kind of killing it.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that was crazy. Okay, second question. So there's a man named Dylan McWilliams, and he was bitten by a shark Thursday in Hawaii.
And now he's Shark Man.
That would be so cool, but no. So in the last 4 years, he was also bit by what 2 other animals?
He was... Oh, God. Are they water animals?
No.
Okay. So he's
Would
bit
you
by
like
shark.
a hint?
He's still alive, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He was bit by a snake?
Yes.
And...
What kind of snake?
Oh, rattle.
Yes, a rattlesnake.
Woo, killing
Ding,
it.
ding, ding. And what other animal was Dylan McWilliams bit by?
He was bit by a...
So I'll give you a hint. This
okay.
one can be found in a mountain. It's a forest animal, big, kind of grizzly things.
A bear.
Yeah!
Yes, grizzly.
So, Dylan McWilliams, in the last 4 years, has been bit by a shark, a bear, and a rattlesnake.
What is he doing?
So unclear what this man is doing, but his quote in this article I read was, "I am either very lucky or very unlucky."
No, just unlucky. Just unlucky, no luck.
I mean, he lived through all of these things. He's been bit by a rattlesnake, a shark, and a bear, and he lives to tell you.
I guess, but also, okay, maybe lucky, because being in the position is just poor decision making. Why is he around these animals?
He's a big outdoorsy guy. I don't know.
Unless he's like, here, let me hit you with this. He goes to zoos and jumps in the cages.
Ooh, fair, except for the shark thing. He was in Hawaii. Maybe, I guess, in the zoo in Hawaii. I don't know. But,
Maybe,
yeah. Rough go for Dylan.
Interesting.
All right, I have one more for you. So far, I mean, you're 2 for 2. So in points world of wait, don't tell me, you're winning. So this is great.
Wait, all on my own, no help.
Yeah, no help at all, no hints or anything. All right, last one. So a Colorado woman is facing a $500 fine from U.S. Customs and Border Patrol for saving what free snack from her Delta flight? Go.
Lemonade. Was she making her own lemonade in Mexico and they wouldn't let her bring it over?
She's actually coming back from Paris, France. So no.
Oh, got that good French lemonade.
Would you like a hint?
No. Snack from Delta Airlines? Is that what you said?
Correct. On her flight back to the United States from Paris.
And she was saving it. Her favorite snack is those Biscoff cookies.
Those are definitely my favorite snack, but no. I'll give you a little hint.
Okay, yeah, give me a hint. Don't give me the answer.
The only hint I have will probably give you the answer.
Okay, let me just run through snacks. Peanuts.
You're not going to guess this. This is an
Pretzels.
international flight, and I don't think you take enough of these.
Pistachios.
It is a type of fruit.
Strawberry. Papaya.
One of these a day keeps the doctor away.
Apple?
Yes! So,
That's not very exotic.
Not at all. So she saved this apple that she got as a snack on her Delta Airlines flight. And when she arrived in the U.S., she went through customs and her bag was chosen to be randomly searched. And it's, according to U.S. Customs and Border Protection, every fruit or vegetable must be declared to the Border Patrol agricultural specialist and presented for inspection, which she did not do. So she was fined $500 for it. And she asked them if she could eat it or throw it away instead, and they said no. $500.
That better have been the best apple she's ever eaten in her life.
I really hope it was, because that is literally the most expensive apple I've ever heard of.
Do we know what kind of apple it was?
No, I don't. But
Granny Smith apple might have been worth it. Red Delicious,
ooh,
not
worth it. Yeah, not worth it. So that's what I have for you, Nick. You did a great job. You were 3 for 3.
What's my prize?
Oh, your prize.
Can't do a voicemail.
Nope.
End of an era.
It is an end of an era. I can't do a voicemail for you. Your prize will be, maybe I will only answer the phone when you call me in this voice from now on. Ding, ding, ding.
I'm never calling you.
Okay. I can't do that voice anymore. It's getting weird.
Alright, for my prize, I would like to pick the next podcast.
Oh, okay. That's great. I like that prize, actually.
Yeah.
That makes way more sense and seems a lot more reasonable than me trying to remember to answer the phone in a game show host voice.
Yeah, fair. I actually have an idea for the next podcast, but it requires a little extra work than just listening to the podcast.
Oh, I'm excited and intrigued. So that was Wait, Don't Tell Me. Which is, I wish you would have said that when I was giving you clues. That would have been funny.
I thought about it and then didn't, so.
Bummer. So this is an NPR podcast. I think it's super entertaining. It's fun to listen to. It's a great way to get some random news. And yeah, I think that's all I got about them.
It's pretty entertaining. It's a different take on the current events thing. A lot of podcasts talk about current events and give their own opinions on them, but I like the game show aspect of it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And it's quick, so you don't, it's not like a million details and a ton of interviews. It's like, hey, this happened. Here's a point.
Yeah, it's pretty quick, and they still get, some interview stuff on there with the guests they have. I saw they had another one with, I think Tom Brady was on at some point. Andy Richter was on, so they get some pretty cool guests on there.
Yeah, they do. And it's fun when they, like, especially have the guest and do the Not My Job segment. And, like, normally the people are probably used to going on a podcast and talking about what they do or why they're famous. And they're like, yeah, we don't care about that. Let's talk about this.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. I bet that's nice for the guests, too. Because they're probably used to, like, the same questions a lot of the times. Or just talking about, you know, the movie they're in, or, you know, if they're an athlete, the last game they played. So it's probably nice, I think, kind of like a reprieve for them.
So check them out. They're fun to listen to. And keep checking us out. So if our listeners, anyone wants to contact us, send us a podcast to listen to, you can email us at podcafe.contact@gmail.com, or you can tweet at us at _podcafe. You can listen to our podcasts on thepodcafe.libsyn.com or on Spotify. So check us out on Spotify.
Yeah, we're blowing up. We're on Spotify now.
Woohoo! So, yeah, check us out there. Contact us. Tweet at us. Keep listening to us. Send us your thoughts, ideas.
Yeah, if you search the Podcafe on Spotify, we're the only thing that comes up, so we're pretty easy to find.
Woohoo! That's awesome. That's all I got for today, I guess. Keep drinking your flavored coffee and listening to the news. I don't know.
And thanks for playing. Thanks for tuning in to the Podcafe.
Oh.
That
was like...
What?
It was like almost a good game show voice, and then it got a little like whiny at the end.
I got a little lazy with it. See, I finished my coffee too early in the episode, and so now I'm crashing.
Stay caffeinated.
Still not a good one. How about? Nope. Thought I had it. Don't have it.
that sounded like nothing.
I was trying to play on glass half full.
Oh.
But I got
okay, we'll be back for you all again next week.
Alright, see you later, everybody.